So, hello everyone. Welcome back to Icewind Dale. We're back over our Christmas break. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and New Year's, of course, as wonderful as we can have in this nightmarish hellscape of a planet. But let's play D&D.
True.
Wow.
No, we hope you had a wonderful holiday time, of course. We're very excited to be back. Something to point out, you may not have seen me post on social media and stuff. There's actually going to be weekly D&D content moving forward, but not Icewind every week. We're going to be alternating with a second campaign that a guy called Runaway Robot, he's lovely, you're going to like him, is coming on to run, which means that I will be a player. We're going to be playing Descent into Avernus. You can find more details on the subreddit r/Guildgates or on my social media merchant_MTG. And yeah, very excited for that. That should be starting in the coming weeks. So back to Icewind Dale. Well, when the party last played, they had just made their way up the narrow slope of the mountain, joined as they were by their Goliath hunter friend Twisted Limb. And as the party arrived at the huge, daunting gates of Sunblight Fortress, they heard a creaking sound as a metal gate overhead opened, and they saw the Chardalin dragon of which they'd been warned take flight, as the party now see it flying into the distance. So as you all see this huge mechanical monstrosity made of scraping metal plates and fury creaking away into the distance over the mountain ridges. We'll pick it back up there. Take it away.
Dorothy's just kind of dropped jaw. What?
Uh,
Well, that's not good.
Oh my god.
I feel like we're not very far from the trail that leads out of here. Maybe I just leave.
it was completed. We're too late.
What do we do? Do we go after it?
Dragons are pretty fast. I don't think we'd ever be able to catch it. I think what we might come back to 8 or 7 towns by the time we get back there.
That's optimistic. I like that.
So, what's
Well,
the plan?
I can assume that the dragon is being controlled by something. I assume it's not, I don't know, a living creature. They had to make it, right? Which means you would assume that there's some type of controller. Perhaps we can go and deal with the controller instead of try to go chase after a
Yes.
dragon in the middle of a blizzard, in the middle of Icewind Dale.
Out of
That's a good
character
plan.
question. Are there like constructs like golems or things like that in the Forgotten Realms?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So there are technically some things that can act without being
course.
directly controlled.
Yes. I mean, they're not common, but I mean, you're a practitioner of a magical art of sorts and you're highly educated. You'd be absolutely aware that constructs and golems and similar enchanted things have exist. You know that enchantment does tend to play a significant part.
Well, let's hope that's the case.
I just think there's only really one route forward here.
Well, but
Yes, we
who's
have
to know
to-
what we're going to face in there?
Probably a lot of ugly, short things that want to kill us.
I'd imagine so.
And actually,
No.
for this beginning of the Sunblight sessions, if you like, I'm actually going to put you on a map where you can see the fortress itself, and as well as move around and whatnot. So let me just
Thank you.
do that for you. I'll let you
So-
place yourselves down in a second.
Is our plan that we are traders, merchants? Because other than that, we're just 5 random people, 6 if you count Twisted Limb, in the middle of nowhere, and happened to stumble upon it. Like, there's got to be a reason, right?
So before we were just traders trying to, see if we could find anything relating to the dragon. I think it's a little more dire at this point. We can definitely say that, we just saw this beast come out. We didn't really know what to do, but we're here to trade, and maybe we can see if we can find the hopeful controller that might be in there. If not, we're gonna have to fight our way through. honestly, I'd rather fight some Duragar than whatever that was. So I'm on plan. Let's go.
I'd rather not fight any of those ugly things. But I will go with whatever story you all come up with, and hopefully it works. Hopefully.
The
They're
map
not that
hasn't-
smart, right?
The map
Just to
hasn't
check.
loaded yet.
Oh, it is. It's bottom. if
You
have to
might
zoom
want
in.
to scroll down.
Zoom
This is
in.
a big old
Oh,
map.
jeez.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shit, there
But
it
you
is.
can you can move yourselves around. Do check with me before you make any movements so I can reveal or hide significant stuff. But yes, you are free to use the map as a reference. We are playing with it as an accurate representation of Sunblight Fortress. So, and hopefully, Ailey, if you want to record on the combat screen so people can see it.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Fantastic. So, yes, you can see now that you are on this path leading up to these huge gates with a small guard post carved away into the rock to its right. What would you like to do?
Well,
Okay.
Oh.
no, you standing around here freezing our asses off. Let's go say hi.
Well, here's the plan before we go in. We can be traders that have like gems and things, and then we should have like a secret word if negotiations
no.
are not going well, to just go in and attack.
I know the perfect word.
Frostbite. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Frostbite works. Yep. Nothing else. Nothing. No culinary thing. No confection of any kind.
No loaves of fruit.
I was thinking we could say
Kat,
that
as
we were-
you're fairly new around these parts, just so you know, banana bread is a very traditional battle
Is
cry.
it? Oh.
When something goes wrong. in
Oh,
this
okay.
group.
I was ready. I was gonna say that we were rug traders.
Banana
Yeah.
bread every day, man.
You want the banana bread? Right.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
outvoted. Banana bread it
traders.
is.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Good times.
I see this as a reoccurring theme.
Every
this as an
single
absolute
campaign.
loss.
Yep.
Great. So, banana bread.
That's always my go-to.
Well, I'm not going to be the one to initiate a conversation. Hey, Dorothea, you're the most related to them. Maybe you should. You're also sturdy. That's the part that I'll point out is the fact that you're very sturdy. That you yeah. That's the bit. Yep. You should be the one to talk to them.
Don't do any talking. I'll do my best to handle this. Let's go. Got a mission off towards the guard outpost thing.
Okay. So are the rest of you kind of hanging back? Are you going with her or?
I'm gonna go up to Ezar and put my arm on, like my hand on his arm, and be like, maybe not next time.
Maybe not what.
She's not the same kind. You know, I know it's close, but people are
oblivious.
different races.
I would.
All
I
right,
would.
They're all
I would,
short to me.
I wouldn't like go up first, but I would probably, I feel like we would go as I'd go as a party. Like I'd follow Dory.
Yeah, okay.
I think we're all gonna go.
Okay, cool. You're kind of milling behind Dorothea while she goes
Yes.
up to it. All right, so you walk up to the slit, the sort of arrow slit in the guard post cut beside the gate. There's no movement for a few seconds until a shuffling noise emerges, and you don't see anything through the slit. But what you do hear is, huh? Who's this?
Hello.
Hello?
Nice to meet you. How you doing?
All right.
Good, good.
That was hang on. What? Whose side you on?
Oh, what you mean?
Well, are you here on regular business? And with this, you see sort of helmeted and chainmail coiffed Duragar, ashen face with these red eyes start peering out of the arrow slit. He goes, huh. Yous look like you're here for trouble, which must mean you're here for our fine lady, the Grand Dame. Are you working for her?
I'm sorry, I'm not following anything you're saying, love.
Are you working for the Grand Dame?
No.
Grandolpha Musgard? No.
Anybody know that name?
Me.
No. We're
All right.
we're
You
just
working for Zardorok?
no.
And why are you here?
We're just passing by. We noticed your fine fort, and we thought maybe you'd like to take a look at some of our wares. We're traders, you see, and we'd like to see what you have, and perhaps we can come to some sort of negotiation about what you've got and what we've got. You know, the usual thing.
With this, you see the beady eyes squint a little bit through the slit, and he goes, right, you just thought you'd come up here and peddle your wares.
Aye.
Okay. Ah. And you can see he's peering behind you at the others, and he goes, well, I'll let you in then.
Oh, thank you.
As I go and check something out. Okay, hang on. And he disappears from view.
I think that went pretty well, don't you?
I think we might be about to be shot at.
I feel like maybe we should have lied and said we're working for someone.
I mean, we knew the name of the king guy. He even said it. We could have lied. We know the son's name. We could have said something.
Well, I don't know. You told me to do it.
While you're conversing, the huge dark iron gates begin to screech and scream as they drag across the earth, sliding back into the mountain from whence they came. Until eventually, they're open enough for any of you, including Twisted Limb, to fit through. You can't see much inside other than a smoky, hazy room with a flickering light that perhaps emits from a brazier or so.
Is that our invitation to go in?
I think so. I will go in as your trader guard.
Right, that makes sense. Rather that than the other way around. I'll be a little suspicious.
Twisted Limb behind you nods when Darmok says this and goes, yes, I will accompany as a bodyguard. I am afraid I do not look much of a trader.
No, you don't, dearie, but that's just fine. We've all got our part to play.
He walks towards the front with you, Darmok.
I look like a traitor, but there's no way in the seven hells I'm gonna be anywhere near the front.
I'm gonna follow these two then. Let's go.
So you're all making your way through this gap in the door.
Gonna try. I can't wait for the armed battalion to be on the other side.
Oh, they're just gonna shoot us through the murder holes.
There are murder holes. So
It's gonna be like those goblins all over again.
you all make your way inside this small, dimly lit, cramped antechamber. As you do, you can barely see it all in here. You notice that the braziers now are not filled with flames or torches, but rather burning coals at a low smolder. As you all make your way inside, nice try to those of you trying to stick outside, as you all make your way inside, slowly the gate behind you begins to creak shut. Anybody like to do anything?
I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
Hello?
Hello?
So as you're questioning the darkness, the iron gates crash close behind you once again, making it even darker in here.
Oh, yay.
Until you hear another set of scraping doors in front of you. The coals in the braziers seem to get slightly hotter as you begin to see in the dim light as your eyes adjust. Filing through the doors in front of you are 8 Duragar guards, all armed with crossbows, one line kneeling in front of the other, all raising their crossbows to you. Behind them stands a slightly senior-looking Duragar. You can tell his armor is slightly more decorated, and he appears to be in charge of this small band. He raises one arm in a motion as if to give the order to fire.
No, please don't shoot us. We're perfectly harmless. I encourage you, please, sir, don't give the order to fire.
With this, the older Duragar at the back doesn't lower his arm, but it stays where it is for now, as he goes, oh, Okay. And you are?
I'm Dorothea. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Sir?
Who let you in?
Your guards did.
With this, he rolls his eyes. He goes, oh, not my god. What a house. I can't wait until her presence is gone from these halls. Well, we'll wait to see if the fine Grand Dame herself comes to claim you. If not, then we'll be taking what you have. And he grins at you with these rotten away, soot-stained teeth.
Forgive my ignorance, but should we know who the Grand Dame is?
So you're not here for her. The plot thickens. Tell me, what are you here for?
We're traders.
And you're telling me a city-dwelling dwarf such as yourself would come willingly to trade with those you hold in disgust?
Oh, I've got nothing
Coin is
against you
coin.
personally, yeah. Business is business.
He seems to be leering into the group at whole. You can see Twisted Limb's knuckles whitening as he clenches the hilt of his great axe, and he goes, okay, well, I could see one of her runners coming now. Until he's joined by a Duragar guard in slightly different raiment. You can see there's a dark purple edging this guard's cloak. He goes, oh, right, it's yous that I just spoken to about coming inside and doing that work you agreed to for Randolpha.
Hey.
Yes?
Right. And with this, you can see the older sergeant becomes a bit confused and furrows his brow. And the younger dwarf goes, oh, sorry about not being clear. They've been instructed to come here, keeping it low key. I'm not sure who she wanted them to tell. And he looks eagerly towards all of you.
They told me to be tight-lipped.
There are factional disputes? What the heck?
They need to make a union.
Yes. So can we drop with the crossbows and be on our way to help?
With this, the older sergeant slowly lowers his hand and goes, all right, boys, back to bunk. It's their problem. She can keep this interesting lot. And they slowly file out the door and back around the corner to the left. And you can hear them beginning to take their equipment and whatnot off in what appears to be a large hall to your left. With this, the younger dwarf remains. He goes, right, well, I'd say you owe our fine lady a debt. I told her of your arrival anyway. I thought you were another lot of mercenaries she'd hired. But it turns out you're not. Well, seems like you might be willing to work off that debt now, eh?
Seems like we have no choice.
Well, you get points for realizing that. Follow me. And the Duragar in the purple cloak begins to trounce away down the hallway. These Duragar have moved out of your path. The one at the back is slowly heading off to the right. Are you all just following him?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okey-dokey.
As we're following, I'm going to say so that the Duragar can actually hear to someone, doesn't matter who. It says, so we came here to trade, but looks like we're part of whatever this is. What do you... This is not part of the plan.
I mean, there's a reason why we hired so many of our own bodyguards. Maybe we can help them out.
With this, The guard doesn't reply to any of your comments, and he leads you down a long, smoky corridor. There seems to be almost like acrid fumes in this corridor. It's quite difficult to breathe comfortably in some ways. Not the nicest environment to be in. Eventually, he stops outside a great sort of wooden carved with iron banding on it door, and he goes, the lady'll see you in here. Make sure you mind your manners. She's always got a fondness for those. And, well, she's awfully looking forward to meeting you.
My thanks for not having
With this,
us.
he kind of pushes away half the door and, with a very sarcastic butlery bow, takes a step back.
Thanks.
What
Here we go.
would you like to do?
Well,
I just head in, I guess.
I guess
Okay.
we knock.
So you awkwardly file into this this quite nothing the Durgar make you describe as elegant, but it's quite a lavishly constructed banquet hall. The tables and chairs are set in stone, and there's more than a few tapestries and kind of sculptures built into the walls themselves. Lounging at a table, you see one figure with a strange, small mechanical creature next to her. Seems to be made out of the same chatelain material that you've become accustomed to seeing. There are 3 Durgar standing behind her, busily preparing foods. You can see it's almost as though each one has a station. One is chopping vegetables into a large stew pot. The other 2 appears to be fawning over delicate confectionery that their short, stubby hands don't seem all too well suited for. But sitting at the table, the Durgar you see is an elderly, lavishly dressed female Durgar. She appears to be wearing the semblance of a fine regal robe, or at least an approximation of one, as she draws on a pipe as one hand rests on what you now see is a small miniature version of a mechanical dragon that appears to be flittering around her shoulders and running up and down the table excitedly. She takes a long draw on her pipe, and through very frizzy, bedraggled, long grey hair, her weathered face turns towards you and goes, "Oh, my unexpected guests have arrived. Please do take a seat." And she gestures around at the 5 seats left empty at the table.
I will
I
sit.
take a seat.
Wonderful. You're all in time for the main course. Come along, Drozen. And when she claps her hands, and as she does, one of the Durgar preparing food turns around and picks up a great big silver platter from behind him. He carries it over to the middle of the table between you all and puts it down, and with a flourish, pulls off the casing. You see inside, well, actually, why don't Ezar and Eddie make me an Arcana check each? You make an Arcana check.
Oh no, my int is 0, dude.
Wow, really? I have a +4. I rolled an 8.
You got an 8, I got a 9.
Okay, so you guys aren't quite sure what this is. To the rest of you, it looks like a creature that is simply a large brain on legs has been cut open and placed into some kind of broiling pot. It seems to be stewing in its own juices. Eagerly, the Grand Dame lifts up a hand and tears off a chunk of this large brain and pops it into her mouth. She chews and she goes, "Oh, quite delectable. Do try it yourselves."
Right. I'm gonna take a little bit.
Does it look like a human, or like
No,
what
this
kind
is
of-
this is a brain as large as like your torso that
Oh.
appears to be on 2 strange spindly legs that has been placed whole in this like broiling pot on the table.
I've played too much D&D to not know what that is.
Those of you wondering, out of character, it is an intellect devourer.
Intellect devourer. Yeah.
This is giving me flashbacks to Baldur's Gate 3, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, Eddie will try anything once.
I will also try a piece.
I'll
be
have
rude
some.
not to?
Are all of you partaking of the delicious brain pot?
Sure.
Yes.
Ezar?
No brain.
I will take a piece, but I'll do a little flick of the wrist, make it so it doesn't taste terrible. I'll
You
make
know it
like
tastes
me
terrible.
stew.
He loves it.
So you all, except to you, Ezar, you all eat a small portion of this strange creature, and it tastes of just chewy nothingness with a fine layer of ash that has settled from the ceiling. It is quite revolting, but you all manage to get it down just. With that, she goes, so glad you enjoyed our fine delicacies. Now, before we get to business, a round of drinks, I think. And with this, one of the other Durgar brings along 5 clay pots and a large pitcher. And he puts them down on one end of the table. And just as he picks up the pitcher to begin pouring drinks, she goes, No. I'll pour for our guests. It is hospitality after all. And you see now, this Grand Dame is ancient, even in dwarven terms. She kind of unsurely creaks up on her old bones to standing and stutters slowly towards the end of the table and picks up the pitcher and starts pouring drinks. She goes, No, I'm sure you'll like this. You see, my family, they're very famous for their brewing, but not like your brewing. And she gestures towards you, Dorothea. She goes, No. We brew a little differently, us Musgarts. We brew with the finest mushrooms down below. In fact, our ale has become quite an empire. We're respected all the way through the Underdark, even to the surface like here now. I'm sure you're going to love it. And she slowly but surely doles out 1 cup to each of you. When you look down, you see a watery, earthy brown looking liquid that to a smell smells of nothing but dirt and rot. Do you all take a sip?
She said it was world famous even on the surface. Can I get a history check on that?
Yes.
See if I know anything about this brew before I imbibe. I got a M5.
Haven't rolled higher than a 10.
With a 5, the main thought that pops into your brain is, what the fuck is this?
Goose goes, boys. The boys are for Goose go.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, that's quite
love to
alright.
try it.
Drink up.
Hmm.
She eagerly eyes each of you.
What does it
Have a
taste like?
sip, yep.
You all sipping?
I see nothing wrong with this, and I'm gonna go chug it. This is
Ease
totally fine,
across the
thanks.
table.
So you all sip it. At first, all of you take a sip.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay, Ezar, you don't.
Ooh.
Mm-mm.
So the 3 of you take a sip. It tastes like the smell. Is the easiest way of putting it. It tastes like the smell and a bit worse. But you managed to take it down. It's not as bad as the large brain you just sampled. It's just a kind of foul-tasting ale, as though somebody made a once respectable ale and let it go off over the case of several centuries. But it's not the worst thing you've ever drunk. Darmok, it's definitely not the worst thing you've ever drunk. And you
Definitely
managed
not.
to down it fairly comfortably. It is not a nice ale by any means, but it is an ale, and you appreciate that on its merit alone. Ezar, she turns her head towards you, and you're met with these intense eyes that don't seem to match with the age of the person carrying them. She goes, Oh, you drink up, dearie. We can't have you thirsty.
Sorry, I'm so used to high vintages back home that I really can't stomach much else. If it's not from a vineyard,
Oh, I really insist. It would be awfully rude to decline. This is my family's ale.
These are in our house, we can drink what we want. But in other people's house, it might be accustomed to sample the wares.
I sampled the branding.
Half the battle, these are half the battle.
How did it taste, everyone?
It's fine. Truly.
My lady, I will take his if he's not going to have it.
With this, she waves a handy and goes, Oh, nonsense. Here you go, and pours you another of the brown liquid.
I appreciate that.
Maybe
Good at-
drink that one a little slower, though. We do have business to attend to, after all.
Very well.
Oh, go on, Ezar.
The
It's not
gaze
so
turns
bad.
back to you, Isa.
Mm-hmm. I tried.
I'm thinking.
I tried.
To drink or not to drink.
I'll sip it. In the meantime, just watching him.
My gullet is not used to such unrefined non-wines, just like all wines that I drink. What the hells? I am going to heat it up more, though. I'm going to press digitation, essentially pretending to use the heating portion, but I'm going to make it taste like something I enjoy.
Which is totally not rude at all.
Eyebrow cocks. She looks entirely cognizant of what you're doing. As you drink the brown liquid that you've made taste perfectly pleasant, just tastes like regular wine to you or whatever beverage you so desire. She goes, right then. Why don't we talk about what's led you to my table today? You're here for trade, which we all know is a lie. It's clear to me that at least 3 of you, and she looks between Dorothea, Twisted Limb, and you, Fletch. She goes, at least 3 of you have been to the Dale before. So you would not come here to trade. What has brought you here?
Like shoot a dart around the room. Well,
And I definitely came here for coin. Not actually a lie, by the way.
well, first off, I'm Dorothea. It's a pleasure to meet you. Grand Dame, I believe is what you
It's a
referred to.
pleasure to meet you. Grandolpha Musgart, the Grand Dame of the Musgart family. Pleasure.
Grandolpha.
I will put her name in Discord for you all, so you can see how it's
Thank you.
We're here, true, not as traders or merchants. We're here because we're curious about something we heard along the grapevine.
She takes the long drawn, her slowly smoldering pipe, and with a gentle roll of her eyes, turns her eyes to you, Dorothy, and goes, do spit it out, dearie. This is a Duragar fortress. You're either here to kill me, Zadorok, or one of his scheming sons.
Yeah, we've
Or perhaps you seek journey to a place even darker than this. But I will hear it from you straight.
Before that, I do have a question. Pardon the intrusion of the main train of the conversation, but I like to say I can recognize fine craftsmanship when I see it. Did you make that? And I point to the dragon thing fluttering around.
No. This was a invitational gift from Zadorok, actually. He's quite fond of me, you know. I can't say I'm particularly fond of him, but I'll hear him out.
Who is Zardock to you?
Zadorok is the lord of this fortress, the head of the Sunblight clan, and the way I see it, quite a powerful potential business partner. I think he seeks my connections, well, in places that you all don't need to know about. That's neither here nor there. Truth be told, I'm just as well off with Zadorok as if he were not here. So I believe we may have some mutual interest. Assuming you didn't come here to kill me.
No, truth be told, we didn't even know you existed. We'd heard about Zadorok
Oh.
from his mouthy son, and we also heard about his dragon that he just let loose upon 10 towns.
Her eyes light up when you mention his mouthy son. She goes, oh, no. This would be Darth, I believe. He has neither returned, even though he was due to check in, I believe, before you all arrived. Tell me, were you the ones that killed him? I assume he's dead.
No, we didn't kill him.
No. Oh, a crying shame. Why not?
Believe me, we wanted to.
Why didn't you?
Because he bartered for us. Wait, asking as a player, he said if we let him live, what did he say to us?
No, if you let him live, like we would.
He told you about everything.
Yeah, we learned about
Yeah.
the turtle and dragon
Right.
and all the other things.
Yeah. We let him live for the information that led us here.
Oh. Well, all the more the reason to get away with killing him in the future. A useful bit of information, that. So, you came here because of the Chardland dragon, my supposed wedding gift, if he finds himself so lucky.
Oh.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, hold your horses. I'd rather die than marry that old sack of shite. He made the dragon, well, you'd call it courtship. I have no idea. Perhaps he's trying to compensate for something, eh?
Wink.
Truth be told, it's an odd wedding gift. I believe it's to signify his power, more than because I want a larger version of my wee beastie here. She gestures towards the small metallic dragon still running up and down the table. He goes, no, I'm being harsh. It's a fine gift. Albeit one I have little to no use for. It won't exactly fly where I'm from. And I have no interest in 10 towns. I care not if it burns nor lives. I'm guessing it's not the same for you.
Considering that's where we come from, it'd be preferable if
I don't
it
come
were
from
to
there.
live. Not burn to the ground.
Well, you might be a bit late for that, lass.
Aye. So, I guess I'm just gonna ask then. Do you have any idea how we can stop it?
Dragon? Oof. I have no idea. It's outside my very specific knowledge base, to be honest with you. I suggest you can probably kill the thing. I don't know how it works.
Do you know who might?
Saddlerock saw it being built. He's the one who did it. Maybe one of his daft sons. I doubt it. Nildar is here, I believe. Another thorn in my side. Perhaps he knows. Other than that, well, you said you already met his other son. Seems like he'd have been a good one to ask.
So from where I live,
And where is
there's-
that, dearie?
on the coast.
That's not very specific.
It's a big town. Anyway, with a bunch of people who like to vie for power in potentially potentially dire consequences. Do you prefer either of his sons? And if so, do either of his sons not like their dad?
She cocks a bushy eyebrow at this and goes, you're most peculiar compared to your companions. I must say, I have no love for either of his sons. In fact, one of them may enter our negotiations when we begin.
Interesting. All right.
Tell me, where is Darth?
Theoretically still in prison?
Oh, well, that's good. As long as he can't interfere with what I've got going on here.
He did say that he had a plan to break out, though. I don't know how true his words were.
I mean, we took his stuff from him.
I think his plan might be related to the large dragon that's flying at 10 towns right now. Hopefully, he's immolated in the carnage. That'd be grand.
It's most likely what's
So-
bound to happen.
So, my lady, you want Zagoroth to die. You do not want to marry him.
Oh, I'd never say anything so blunt. Tell me.
But-
I'm gonna
okay.
like gesture to the other Durgar in here. I assume these ones are loyal to you.
Oh, aye.
Okay.
In fact, all of the Duergar on this floor are under my command at the moment. Except Zadorok's little garrison by the gates, but you've already met them. They won't dare interfere. They're outnumbered greatly on this floor. All of Zadorok's bunch are either up in the hangar or down in the forge. And we don't really go down there.
So,
So
are
the-
you just trying to get out of this marriage? What do you want?
Truth
I
be
mean, you're
told-
single, right?
Oh, who you're asking for? Truth be told, I want this fortress. It's a perfect place to expand our ale empire. Now, I will be honest with you, as I believe you have been relatively honest with me. She casts a quick glance at Ezar. Now, what I will tell you is that I don't care about 10 towns. I don't care if 10 towns burns. I don't care if it prospers. For now, at least. Now, I'll make no promise in that regard that I won't ever meddle in any of their business. If they agitate us, we shall respond justly. However, what I will say is right now, I pay it no heed. And that is far better than the design Zadorok has on that place.
I mean, if your goal is just to make a lot of dash from selling ale, that seems fine with me. I'm ready to help some good old fashioned coinage.
I mean, I have no real interest in the surface. I mostly deal in the great below.
Mm.
This fortress would be a perfect place to deal from.
So I have to ask the obvious question. I'm going to say, basically saved our lives as we walked through the door. What do you want from us?
Well, if we're speaking openly, I will be blunt. You have come to this fortress to presumably do away with Zadorok's Sunblight, trying to stop the Chardland dragon that's ravaging your homeland. Very well. I have come to this fortress to claim this fortress one way or another. However, certain rules must be applied. If I go in and slaughter their leader, not even saying I'd be able to, but did I manage? Many of the Dodragar in this place would never swear allegiance to me. They'd view me as a traitor and an oath breaker. However, say a traitorous brand of spies did away with Zadorok, I would be naturally positioned to transition into power. I would help them gain stability. And in time, they would come around to realize that I was the most profitable arrangement for them. So, if you understand what I'm suggesting,
Hmm.
and I think we're on similar pages.
I believe we can all be spies, yes.
Well, I have one more question, my lady. Now, with your new queen of this fortress, what happens to the spies after the king has been taken out?
Well, I imagine they fled and were never seen nor heard from again, and they never ventured to Sunblight Fortress ever again.
Very well.
So if we were to do this, would you be able to give us assistance in terms of getting where we need to be?
With this, she cracks a smile and goes, "Oh, very observant. Hey, those carrying my mark won't be hassled around the fortress. Like I say, Zadorok is trying to win my hand in marriage. He's not going to go around killing my men. Even if you aren't Duragar, if you carry my seal and are obviously in my service, you won't be bothered."
That's good to know.
Gonna drink the rest of the ale and say, I think I speak for everyone. You got yourself a deal.
Very well.
No one speaks for Ezar except for Ezar.
Is
So
there-
let's. I just want to make sure of something. Okay.
Okay.
Let's
Get the
say-
contract out.
Hey, I'm not full contract, right? Let's just say that those dastardly spies, whoever they will be, whatever. Let's say they leave with things that weren't necessarily there, that they didn't come in with.
You mean looting?
Yeah, just some minor stuff, maybe some cool, interesting gear.
Outside of
Yeah.
this room, nothing here is mine. I care not
Yet.
for what you take.
Cool.
However,
that would be cool. For
there is a test for you, if you
oh
like.
gosh.
Should
Side
you
quest.
fail, you have to realize you'll be carrying my mark. Should you fail, well, let's just say that might cast some suspicion on me.
No.
Naturally, I'll deny all involvement, but it will still cast a lot of suspicion. So, I need to know you're up for the task. Zadorok might be an old crackpot obsessed with that metal of his, but he's also a highly proficient sorcerer. So I propose a test. 2 doors down on this floor, at the very end of the corridor that my guard so kindly led you down, there's his other son's chambers, Nildar. Now, I suggest you go in there. Act in
Response-
self-defense. And I suggest you make sure that Nildar isn't going to be around to claim power when his father's gone.
Hmm.
We can do
What
that.
about his other son? Because he's
Dirth?
not here.
Older son's death. He said he was in prison.
Right.
Right?
It
Well,
would
let's
be
kill him.
all right.
He's in prison in a place that, right about now, is probably engulfed in magical dragonfire. Sorry if that was inappropriate, dearies, but probably not doing too well.
He also told the spies where to go and told them about the dragon.
Hey,
A bit of a usurper.
Hmm.
Death's name will be stricken from the history books. Don't worry about it. Nildar, however, is here. Even that wee beastie of his. So, be prepared when you go in. Nothing that I'm sure a fine party, and she glances at the 6 of you, can't handle.
No problem. I think we are all clear on what we need to do. I have one question, slightly unrelated.
Goodness.
Would you know what this does? And I'll pull out my little vial of blue goo here that I took off of Dearth, if you recall. It was full.
Oh, yeah.
So do you have any idea? This was actually found on Dearth, so I'm just trying to figure out what it does.
So she takes it off you and kind of looks at them and goes, "Oh, well, I've been a bit of an alchemical brewer at times in my past. Don't see why I can't have a look for you." She sort of swirls the viscous liquid around a little bit in the vial and goes, "Ah, if I had to guess, it's a potion of invisibility."
Okay.
Might be handy.
What's your confidence level?
What's the under
Well,
over?
they're pretty popular with Duraga agents, we'll call them.
Right.
I've seen them before.
Thank you. I was just wondering. They snuck into my bed with, I assume, one of these. So.
Hey, that sounds like Death. Always was a backstabber, like his father.
It might be useful when we finally meet Zardarak.
Perhaps.
Yes, I suppose so. Truth be told, I don't really care how you do it, so long as you do it.
So once we sort out the first problem, do you report back to you or carry on our way?
Oh, come back here, then I'll give you my seal to take, well, wherever you may in the fortress.
All right.
2 doors down. That way or that way?
To the left when you go out.
3 doors down?
That way.
Wait, that's not 3 doors down. Never mind.
All right.
Right, well, let's not dilly-dally. Hopefully some of our...
Look, oh, watch
Plans
out for
are still
that
existing?
little pet he keeps.
Pet?
What is it?
Oh, I don't know. It's something's in there.
It's mechanical.
It's a pet of some kind.
Good.
It's an
yeah.
intellect devourer.
Oh, no.
It's 8 illithids.
Oh, goodness.
Welcome to the Illithid Rodeo. Let's go. All right.
Let's be on our way.
Time to
So
slow
she-
down.
Begins repacking your pipe as you begin to leave, and the guard who's been outside, presumably listening to everything, kind of gestures towards the end of the corridor. It's the door on your far right that you can see, this one here. And he goes, Nildar's chambers are just in there. Good luck. He's kept himself holed up in there most of the time we've been here. Not really a social one, so, well, off you go. And he begins to scurry away.
Wait.
Oh.
Is his door locked?
I don't know.
No?
Probably.
How would we get in then?
Open it, probably.
If it's...
We could just knock and say we've brought him some dinner or something.
Well,
Oh, that
perhaps
sounds like a fine idea. Why don't you try that?
Okay.
Bye.
I'm walking down the hallway already.
Well, you can all move yourselves on the map, of course.
Okay.
Twisted Limb goes beside you, and he looks towards you, and he goes, I fear for what this pet may be.
it's a Yeti.
Between all of us, we should be able to handle it.
Should. Is not can. Or will.
We
I should
will
say.
handle it.
Didn't know you were a seer. But all right, let's give it a go.
All right,
Uh,
so yes, Fletch?
Well, I was going to say, do we want to try anything more than just knocking on the door and attacking him as soon as he opens the door?
No, that sounds good.
All right, that's
Well-
fine with me.
Maybe there is a guard outpost on this floor. So maybe to slightly dampen the sounds, we close the door behind us.
Yeah, I would want to, like,
At minimum.
the Great Name said, everyone on this floor is her control except the garrison at the front. We just want to make sure that we don't attract a bunch of guards to the best of our ability.
There will be battle sounds regardless. I think we should just go
long
for it.
hallway, but we'll still dampen it with the... It's fine. We're just...
Figure it out.
Let's
It's on
just
site.
go.
Let's knock.
Are you knocking on the door? All
Yep.
right. As you knock on the door, you hear a voice from inside just go, come in.
Open the door.
Let's
All
go
right,
in.
so you push apart this two-part wooden door of long doors, a kind of a wide door across the whole corridor, and it swings open into this quite a large room. Now, as you enter there, you do see at the opposite end of it, Nildar, who you assume to be Nildar, a middle-aged looking Duragar sitting at a table. Now, You can't see the entirety of the room because of the long doors kind of opening into it, if that makes sense. But what you can see is him sitting at a table in the back of it. He appears to just be kind of like fussing over some papers right now. Sorry, my reveal thing isn't working for some reason. That's good. There we go. All right. So, yeah, you see him like fussing over some papers at the back, sitting at a small table. What are you doing? Are you barreling in? What's the
I'm
plan?
coming in.
I think we're barreling, yeah.
Barreling into combat mode?
Mm-hmm.
I guess so.
All right.
Well, I mean,
In that case, as you charge in the room, before we roll initiative, you get past the length of the open doors, and they suddenly, the one on the right-hand side of you all running in, seems to crash off its hinges as it tries to slam closed.
Shit.
As a huge, hulking, zombified ogre stands in the corner of the room.
other way.
There we go.
Oh, good.
Oh, of course that's the side I enter on.
Uh-huh.
Yay! Another combat where I'm going to be down from the
Let me just
beginning.
move you all up.
Awesome.
So we
That'll be
shall
fun.
roll initiative.
I'm
Just let me
boned.
open the turn timer.
Oh, twisted limb, pulling up the rear.
All
Yeah, he's right in front of
He's
the
next to you,
thing,
Justin. It's fine. All right. So
This thing
we'll
doesn't
play
have
this-
sleeve. Initiative,
Alright.
go!
You can all roll initiative.
15! Oh boy.
A 3. I don't want to
Nice,
hear it.
Kat. Great job. Ezar's like,
There's a
zombie!
4.
run!"
He's
I
ours
rolled a
a 4.
I got a 1.
Me too.
No, you got a 16.
Oh, no, wait, no, I didn't. No, yeah, I got a 16. Silly me.
Hey,
Alright.
silly you.
It was Alias who got the 1.
Mm.
I walk and I get startled by the dead thing. I'm like, oh, okay. I drop my
Alright.
staff. I gotta pick it up.
Justin, saying you've dropped your weapon at the start of a combat is a dangerous thing to say
It's
to a
a
DM.
joke.
All
I'm
right,
just
top of the round.
explaining.
What a horrible
So,
order.
Top of the round is Twisted Limb as he's running in behind you. He appears to be a little bit more posed and ready as this ogre zombie crashes the door in half as you run in, seeing that you are visibly charging its master. And he is going to turn on the spot and take a huge swing with his great axe towards it, which is a 14. That's a 14 hit. It does hit. Okay, so Twisted Limb strikes it for 7 points of slashing damage. But it's just like a superficial cut across the huge mass of this rotting, bloated ogre that is looking rather menacingly towards the party. And now it is the turn of the ogre, who is going to... When I get a stat sheet up. All right, the ogre is going to run actually around you two to just about over here. And he can't quite get at Darmok because he's blocked. So he's going to take a swing at you, Dorothea, as the closest person to his master.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a 21 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
And as you realize as he swings down, he's holding this huge morning star on a chain, like a ginormous flail, very crudely constructed. And it slams into you for 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
Owie.
All right.
Chunk.
However, that is going to be his turn. Fletch, you're up.
Could I ask you, Connor, what is Nildar wielding any weapons of any kind?
Not that you can see currently. Because bear in mind, at this point, he's still kind of like startled getting up from his chair.
All right. Well, I'm going to shoot at him with my bow.
Okay.
So, longbow. It's a natural 20.
Woo!
Very nice. Roll your
Get him with the
damage.
Hey.
6.
Six.
Did you roll
Minus.
double
Wow.
ones?
Uh,
That's
Wow.
amazing.
It's so bad.
So you see Fletch runs in an absolute kind of like peak athleticism, jumps forward and fires off a perfect shot towards Nildar that just gets completely stuck in his chainmail. It just appears to not really deal much damage, but it was a beautiful shot. So
I think I'm going to action surge, actually.
okay,
Nice,
And,
nice.
and attack him again with my
Okay.
longbow.
do
this
it.
will go equally as well.
Oops, that's the wrong thing. There you go.
Oh.
Oh, that's
It's good.
So, as you're quite frustrated with your beautifully placed shot seemingly doing nothing, you just completely mess the next one and it twangs away harmlessly into the floor.
whatever.
Anything else?
I'll move up to here actually, so I'm standing on his side.
Okay.
In my turn.
All right, Eddie.
Going to go back here because I don't like being that close to that guy, and gonna cast a firebolt at the giant Goliath ogre.
The Goliath.
Wow, that's
You're
great.
gonna cast Twisted Little Fletch. I can pick for you if you like. It'll be Craig, but I can pick for you.
Well, I knew it was gonna be Craig. Big ogre demon to do firebolt attack.
Okay.
God damn it!
Oh no.
You're doing great.
Natural
guys.
one.
We're doing
Natural
fantastic.
one.
Doing
Oh my goodness. So
fantastic.
you're too busy kind of like confounded at the bizarre duality of Fletcher's shots that you don't realize that you've just like passively cast your fireball even completely in the wrong direction as it skids away across the door from which you ran in.
Lovely. That'll be it for me.
All right. It's Nildar's turn. So Nildar, you hear, oh, shite. He's rapidly getting up. He just like pushes the table over to stand up before Fletch reaches him. And he is unarmed. You've caught him completely by surprise. And he just wheels around. You can see now he's got this like soot-stained beard and like rapidly graying hair. And he is wearing this strange sort of like circlet diadem, presumably to indicate some form of his status. However, he turns around and sees you running towards him, Fletch, and this diadem begins to glow. And it radiates a pulse of red energy as 3 scorching rays
Phew.
fly out
Oof.
at you.
Oh my gosh.
Let's have a look.
Oh,
Okay, so that's a 12, an 18, and a 16.
18 and 16 hit.
Okie dokie. Let me just roll the damage for it.
Big ow incoming.
That's me. Sorry, one sec. I've lost the stat sheet. All right, so you take. That is 7 from the first one, and then actually
Okay.
just 4 from the second one. So 11 fire damage in total.
Owie.
Bit of an owie. However, he's startled. He doesn't really see anywhere to run, and that is going to end his turn. Ezar, you're up.
Yes. I'm going to cast a good old fashioned. Gotta use a spell slot. Gonna cast a good old fashioned burning hands.
Nice.
He has to make a
Dex save.
dex saving throw.
Isn't
Yeah.
that a cone to everybody in it?
15 feet.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
It's like he's right in front of me.
Oh, the zombie. Sorry, I thought you should have got Nildar for some reason.
No, God no.
I was like,
everyone.
that's a
Everybody's
John play
dead.
if you do it with that.
Oh, come on.
All right. So he has to make a. What is the saving throw?
It's a dex.
Dex saving
yeah.
throw. He rolls a 2, which modifies
Nice.
itself to 0. So he gets a roll of 0 for that.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure it is gonna be.
Full damage.
Do full damage, 10
Well,
fire
it's-
damage.
Let me just make sure it's supposed to be 10 here, because I have to do
3d6,
max
right?
slot. No, it didn't. It didn't do max slot. It only did
What?
3d6.
Well, do you just roll another d6 and add it if you want to level it up?
Okay. Dice. D6.
Also, anything
Oh,
flammable
cool. He
catches
takes
fire.
11.
Okay, so it takes 11 points of fire damage as you see this spray of embers just go over him and burn away some of like the rotting flesh. The smell is quite horrific. All right. Anything else, Ezar?
That is it.
All right. Darmok, you're up.
All right. I am going to move towards the Goliath. Not the Goliath. The giant. It's the word that's
Ogre.
right over
It
it.
says Goliath.
Yeah,
on
I
the
know,
screen,
it
which
does.
Scares me a little.
The
Oh,
ogre.
I can hang on. I'll show you the nameplate for the. There you go.
Thank you. Okay, the ogre. And I'm gonna try to take a swing at him with my longsword.
Okie dokie.
15.
15 hits. Yep.
Okay. And 4 slashing.
4 points of
damage.
slashing damage. So not a particularly deep strike, it's safe to say, but you do make contact and you do cut open a seam again of just like putrid flesh on this gross monstrosity.
With my bonus action, I'm actually gonna cast what Alias was doing, the Shield of Faith on myself.
Very nice.
So and I'm gonna, try to block as much as possible, and just say, deal with Nildar, I'll deal with him.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Dorothy, you're up.
I would like to use my action to disengage, please. I don't want to be anywhere near this guy.
All right.
I'm gonna run to a corner here with Justin. Woo!
That's me.
Oh, that's you. Well, I'm gonna run to the corner with you, and I'm going to cast my spiritual weapon as my bonus action.
Okay.
How do I get that out here? Boop. And I'm gonna plunk it where I was.
Cool.
Right, that's my turn.
Nice.
All right. I think
You
you can
can-
summon it and attack, by the
Yes.
way.
Oh, I can? Oh, sweet. I'm gonna swing with it then if I can. I'm gonna try and hit the
Whack
guy.
'em.
The Goliath. Spiritual
ogre.
weapon. Whoop. 12.
12 hits.
12 hits.
Hey!
Sweet. That's it. I poked it. Why didn't it work? Oh, it cost at which level? 2. 6 force damage.
Okay, cool. Yeah, your spiritual weapon, this large two-handed sort of celestial warhammer appears and just slams into this thing, and it's so sort of bloated and huge that you see the ripple of the shockwave emanate around it.
Nice.
It is not very nice, but you do strike a solid blow nonetheless.
Good stuff. That's my turn.
All right. So
Also-
it is back to Twisted Limb. Anything else? Sorry, what was that, John?
Oh, I'm just gonna say, Ailey was the only person not to roll a 1 in that entire round of combat.
Yeah, good
Nice.
me.
All right, so back to Twisted Limb. He's just going to stay hacking away at this ogre, and that is going to be a that hits. So yeah, he lands a solid blow on it and actually manages to carve like a chunk out of its leg, and it does seem to reel a little bit from the impact, but also looks awfully angry. And then the ogre is going to turn towards you, Ezar, as the person who definitely had the most effective attack against it. It is going to turn towards you, and it is going to slam down that huge flail of its,
I don't want
which
to die.
is that is a 19.
That does hit me.
Okay, that is for 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
Cool. Hellish rebuke.
Okay, you can roll your hellish rebuke damage. That's a
How?
dex save as well, right?
Dare you? Yes. Yeah, it's a deck save.
Okay. Rolls a 7, so I'm going to assume that doesn't make that.
fails. Cast at what level? It's where is it? Second level? Second level, yeah.
Okay, so that's 8 points of fire
8,
damage.
yeah.
So yeah, you just recuperate and reach out your hand and blast it with your infernal tiefling energy,
How dare he?
and it once again lights up. So that is the end of its turn. Fletch, you're up.
Okay, so I'm going to use my second wind first to restore some health. So it's 1d10 plus 3.
So
I
it
get
is-
back 11.
Hey.
All the damage I took, I get back.
Nice.
And then I'm going to swing my great sword at Nildar
Okay,
for a 23.
Aw,
Nice.
aw, so close.
23 certainly hits. That's a 19. Nice.
So I'm also going to use the maneuvering attack. So I'll explain what that is in a second, but I'm just going to roll the damage. So it's
Nice.
it's just 8 because it's
Mhm.
adding the
Yeah.
but then a superiority die for it being a maneuvering attack, so it's 12 damage total. But then one of my allies can move up to half their movement speed without provoking an attack of opportunity. So I'm going to let Ezar move
Yeah.
without provoking an attack of opportunity.
Nice.
Feels jerk, man.
Feels a jar.
But yeah, that's it for me. That's all I'm going to do.
All right. Eddie, you're up.
I am going to successfully this time cast a magic missile at Nildar at 2nd level. So that's
Ooh, okay.
4d4 plus 4.
You gonna do it this
I'm
time?
just gonna press this 4 times.
John, I'll just tell you, because he has 8 health, you literally cannot not kill him. So
Very, very dead.
yeah, your magic missiles just
15.
pound into him, and you can basically hear his ribs and bones just cracking under the impact as he just gets blasted back onto the table he pushed over and just crumpled lifeless on there. When he does, the large ogre zombie lets out a blood-curdling shriek
Uh-oh.
and appears to
That's
be
what I was
quite
worried.
frenzied.
Great.
Ezar,
Don't
you're up.
don't like the shriek.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry
Don't worry
about it.
about it.
Don't worry about it. All right, I'm
Don't worry
going.
about it.
I'm gonna Eldritch Blast him.
Don't worry, I'm Eldritch Blast. Nice.
24.
Nice.
24 hits.
9 force damage.
All right, it slams into him and once again rips open a huge wound that the zombie doesn't really seem to notice, but it is definitely very damaged at this point.
That's all I'm doing.
All right, Darmok, you're up.
Okay. I'm gonna move still towards Ezar's old spot just to block a little bit better.
Okay.
And then I'm going to hit with my longsword
Okay.
for 11.
11 hits.
Hey.
Oh wow.
This thing has -2
Four.
dex.
For 4 slashing damage.
Once again,
another
you
nat
land
one.
a pitiable blow on the bulk of this monstrosity.
Okay.
But it's a blow nonetheless.
And then I will use my divine smite
Nice.
because I hit
Divine
him.
damage, radiant damage against an undead sounds good, man.
I
Okay.
mean, I've been burning it.
Oh, okay. So it's an extra 2d8.
Yep.
So I'll roll that 12.
Nice. Okay, yeah, so your blow might not be the mightiest, but it does light up with radiant energy and sears a huge cut into this zombie. And it is definitely looking worse for wear after your huge strike. And you do notice it recoils in pain when you invoke your divine smite upon it.
And that will be my turn.
All right. Dorothea.
Cool. I want to move out a little bit here just so I don't blast anyone's head. I want
Generous
to.
of you?
Huh?
Generous of you, I said?
Yeah, very generous. I want to cast Guiding Bolt at the Goliath.
Okay.
Sorry, Ogre. Ogre zombie. That guy.
Ogre zombie.
Ogre zombie.
12.
Okay, that hits.
And
Everything hits the
first
zombie
level,
ogre.
16 radiant damage. Good lord.
Yeah, that
Jesus.
you actually almost managed to blast one of its arms off entirely as your huge bolt hits it and just tears away a ginormous chunk of flesh.
Nice.
But that is still standing.
All right, and then with my spiritual weapon, I want to whack it again.
Okay.
Bonus action, whack.
Bonus action
22
whack.
hits.
22 for 7 force damage.
All right. Your bonus weapon briefly takes the zombie to its knees before it manages to stagger up, but this thing is barely remaining standing.
Can't wait for Twisted Limb
I
to
do not
kill
have
Steel.
any more things I can do, so that's my turn.
Kill.
Alrighty. So, Twisted Limb, once again, he is just going to strike out towards it, which is going to be a... he actually misses it. Okay.
Wow.
Oh,
He
no.
actually
no.
misses it.
No kill shot.
And then the zombie is going to swing its flail towards you, Darmok.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to be for a 25,
That actually hits.
which deals 13 points of bludgeoning damage to you.
Big
Okay.
whack.
And just as you're recovering from the weight of the blow, in its frenzied state, it lets out another one for 17, which probably doesn't hit you.
Does not hit.
It just clangs off your shield that you just managed to raise in time. All right. Fletch,
I would like to shoot the ogre with my bow.
Shoot
Go
him
for
in
it.
the face.
I got a 21.
21 hits.
4 piercing damage.
Hey,
Miserable.
your arrow manages to just find its way into the ogre's eye, and it drops to its feet, drops to its knees, seemingly lifeless. However,
He's a
it's
zombie.
finding out time. It is. Ooh! After a shudder and a brief gesture at getting back to its feet, it collapses dead on the floor. It does
Dead.
not.
More dead.
More dead. More deaderer, yes. You have killed Nildar and his boy.
My boy.
I'm gonna go ahead and just like stand here and just listen to see if I hear footsteps.
Make
Like
me
maybe
a
multiple?
perception check.
Fudge.
20
20 perception, baby.
Not natural.
Honestly, you hear like the faint clamor that you've been able to hear since you entered the fortress, but doesn't seem to be any directed in your way.
So you said the door was blown off its hinges?
The ogre, yeah, pretty much like smashed half the right side of the door off, running at you. So yeah.
I'd like
Real
to
talk?
see what Nildar has on him.
I'm going straight for that circlet.
Okay.
Gotta
Not
find
putting
there
it on
first.
yet. Not putting it on yet.
Well, Eddie is closer. So we'll say, Eddie, you get there first. Especially when, well, Ezar also went to listen, so you definitely get there
That's
first.
fair.
And you sort of make me an investigation check. Why not?
21.
Okay. Yeah. The circle is still radiating a faint sort of reddish orange hue to it, but it does slowly die away and fade away as you presume Nildar exits this realm. And other than that, you don't really find anything of interest on him. He appears to be dressed in standard issues, sort of Duragar chainmail and their crudely made steel armor that you seem to see them all in. Nothing of any real interest on him, other than this faintly glowing circlet.
Okay. Well, there didn't seem to be anything other than this on him.
I find it weird that he would keep that as a pet. Did he live in this room with that?
With
Cuddle,
this,
buddy.
I don't know
Tristan
anything
looks
about
towards
that,
you and just
but-
goes, I've never seen such evil. As he kind of like pokes the zombie's corpse with his sword.
I'm making my way to the corpse.
All right.
I would like the circle. Is the circle still on him?
Well, I think
No.
Eddie took it.
I did.
Okay, I'll say. Where did circle go? The thing shot fire. I want it.
Yeah. Welcome to the club.
Eddie, you're a water dude. Come on, man. You're literally made of water. I'm from Fireland. Fire.
Yeah. That means you have all the fire you need.
Look, while you guys do rock, paper, scissors
Ezar
for whatever
remembers
that, we should head back. Before anyone notices.
Should we bring the body? Or do we
Before we
just leave
head
it?
out, are there any like papers or anything he was working on?
Would you want to like have a little rummage in his desk of papers? Okay, yeah, you can make me an investigation check for that.
Ezar's just staring at Eddie.
16.
Okay, so yeah, you have a rummage through, and there appears to be lots of ledger style reports of goods received, and you realize that this is actually a ledger of items of Chardalin that's been received by Nildar. It seems like he was operating out of Caer Koenig, and there's a few Duragar names you don't recognize, presumably the people working for him out there.
Okay.
Other than that, you find several pieces of kind of like ordinary looking tinted glass that may have been sent under suspicion of being valuable. And you also find 3 dagger-sized pieces of Chardalin itself.
I will take the dagger-sized pieces of Chardalin.
Okay.
You fool.
All right. So you
Back
take your
to the-
Chardalin. Other than that, no, it's just ledgers and a couple of correspondence about like, yeah, seizing Chardalin and raids that are possible around Caer Koenig, but
Okay.
nothing of immediate import, I think is how you'd interpret it.
Well, no time like the present to go see the great dame again.
Return the slab or receive the mummy's curse.
Does anyone else need to rummage around in the ogre's body or something?
Well,
Who
I'm okay.
wants to touch that?
I'm good.
Great. I leave the
Cool.
room.
Nobody want to roll for rummaging? I'll let you roll for rummaging.
Rummage
You
rolls.
look like you want to rummage. Want to rummage? Oh, all right.
I leave
Suit yourself.
the room and head back to the
You'll-
grand dame.
Okay, you're going back to the room with Grandolpha in it. So, as,
As
you
we
make your way,
pass the house Duragar, the butler man,
Mhm. the guard, yeah.
yeah, I'm just gonna mention like, so you know what happened in it. It looks like the pet broke a door. Maybe you should probably get on that to make sure no one just like comes up upon it. I'm just saying.
With this, he raises up and goes, all right, not much of a carpenter myself. Did you check the other son's bedroom? Any pets in that?
I was not directed to the other son's bedroom. Like I gotta go in.
What's that one there? And he just gestures up towards the turn off to the left, back towards Nildar's.
I'm absolutely gonna check that out at some point. But first, business.
Business
Business
first.
before pleasure.
All right.
Hey.
So as you all re-enter Grandolpha's room, why don't we take a quick break there so people can, go get a drink, get a loo and stuff like that. Reconvene in a few minutes. I don't need to do a recap. There's no gap for you guys. For the party, yes, we just defeated Nildar Sunblight and his ogre zombie good boy. And now we're making ourselves, acquainted again with Grandolpher Mar. I can never say her surname correctly. Grandolpher Margazd, which is really hard to say. Musgard. That's the one.
Musgard.
I've written it down like 20
Musgard.
times. It's lost all meaning to me.
I'm gonna call her Musgard.
So Musgard, are you just making your way back into her dining room, her chamber?
Yes.
Already there. Twisted
Okay.
Limb's still poking the body, but we're all there.
Okay. So as you walk in, she looks towards you with raised eyebrows and goes, well, seems like the noises I heard were good ones.
Indeed.
Yes. Mission accomplished.
Well then, it seems as though we may have found ourselves with a suitable business arrangement. I hope he wasn't too much trouble to take care of.
Yeah, we essentially caught him with his proverbial pants down. So
Oh, a
not
little bit more
literally.
detail than I needed, but
I said proverbially.
very well. In that case, I shall provide you with one of these. And she brings out one of the sort of purple cloaks that you saw her guard who led you here was wearing. And you can see that it has like a brooch, which is quite sort of like a crudely stamped bronze signet, which displays a tankard of mead on there. And you assume it to be the Musgard's clan symbol, essentially. Because, well, as long as whichever one of you is leading the way wears that, I can't see there being any problems for you.
Armak, I think you should take it.
You're usually in the front.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna take off my long white cape and I'm just gonna like gently fold it and be like, "Will one of you take care of this, and I'll wear it."
Sure. Just stick it in my backpack.
There you go. And so I don the new cloak.
Okay. Because, right, well, do you have any questions? I've spent some time at the fortress, so it seems as though I may be able to assist.
You wouldn't happen to have a map? Make it easier for us to get around.
With this, she scoffs and goes, no. Anyone found making a map of the fortress, I imagine, would be swiftly dealt with, should it fall into the wrong hands.
Do you remember if the other son had a pet?
No, I don't think so. Nildar was always the one more acquainted with that side of things. Dirth, he was a manipulator and a schemer, but I don't think he had anything as obvious as that. I wouldn't know, but I don't think so.
Do you know if he would have, I don't know, set a trap on his door?
Oh, you're going to go rob his room?
Well,
Might as well. He doesn't need it.
Well, it certainly helps back up our thief and spy narrative. I don't see why not. No one's really been in there, seeing as he should have been back today, and I think many don't know of his demise yet.
Well, he's not technically dead. Not yet, anyway.
depends on where the dragon is
Oh,
right now.
permit an old woman a fantasy.
Granted.
Well,
I guess if there's no map, if you could just lead us or point us in the general direction of where we might find Zardrock.
He's upstairs, right?
Zadorok moves around a lot. Typically, he's in his forge, although the forge is a grand complex in itself, far, far greater than this hall. So, he's probably down there. As to where, I couldn't really tell you.
well, I know this is maybe a bit presumptuous, but do you mind if we look around this floor, get acquainted before we
No,
go elsewhere?
by all means.
So we're okay. So we're with you, right? Ostensibly. If we're questioned what our business is with you, what should we say? Because we're going to be wandering around here.
Oh, see, you're, I don't know, delivering a message to Zadorok, and they might tell you where he is.
Makes sense.
Well, Ezar, you wanted to go check out the other brother's room, right? That's next door. Why don't I wait here and have a nice, relaxing chat with this young lady, and
Classic.
you can come back once you're finished, and we'll be on our way.
All right. Boop, doop, doop, doop.
Okay, so who's doing what? Ezar, are you just going in there on your own?
Anyone
I was planning on it.
All right.
Turns out he's gonna die.
Well,
That's
Ezar,
fine.
we'll swap to you then. What would you like to do? You're standing at a smaller door to another chamber. You can't see in right now.
Right.
I've just revealed it by accident, but it's a
That's
room. So what would you like to do?
So this is a wooden door as well, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of poke it with my staff.
Okay.
I assume nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
Okay. I'm going to try to turn the doorknob.
Okay. It turns.
I will open the door. I'm not walking
The
in,
door
I'm
opens.
opening the door.
Okay, the door opens. You look in and you see a much better ordered room than Nildar's was. There's some stacks of papers here and there. There's a large wooden chest with bronze banding resting against one side of the wall. To the back, there's a very simple stone bed with a thin sort of like a covering and a duvet on it. Everything in here seems fairly well kept. There's a small bread bowl with a small like decanter of wine next to it, you assume. Nothing immediately strikes you out of the ordinary, other than there is a large chest leaning against the wall.
Cool. I'm going to take my rope, tie, I guess, a dagger to it.
Mm-hmm.
One of my daggers. And I'm going to essentially just keep chucking it and getting it back into the room. Just chucking it,
Fishing for
throwing it back,
traps.
chucking it, throwing it back, chucking it, throwing it back.
Yeah, you do that. It clatters against the floor each time. Nothing seems to happen.
All right. Satisfied, I will go ahead and start entering the room, being
Okay.
sure to test each place that I put my feet with my before I put my feet there with my quarterstaff.
So would you like to try and like detect traps essentially?
I'm not gonna be sure. I'm not gonna be able to do that.
Make me a perception roll.
Give it a go.
I got a nat 1.
You have
Literally
no
now.
idea.
Was a
You're
nat
in the room at this point though, and you haven't hit a trap. So who knows?
Cool. I'll look around the room for any valuables and or a key for the chest that I don't know if it's unlocked or not.
Sure. So you look around the room. Well, make me an investigation check.
Alrighty. 14.
Okay, so I say it's good enough. You look around the room. You do see that the chest is actually more of a trunk. It's still quite a nice, well-made, like sort of old wood with bronze banding trunk, but there's no like obvious like padlock or keyhole on the front of it. It looks like it could just be opened essentially. Other than that, you kind of look around, and similar to Nildar's, there's some reports. There's mostly large item ledgers along with sort of raw quantity of chardalin harvested. Most of the things seem to be along that note. There's not really anything else that grabs your eye from the papers and stuff strewn around the room.
All right, I'll kind of open the lid using my staff.
So you're opening the lid of the chest?
Yes.
All right, I'd like you to roll initiative as a large tongue and teeth come
My God.
flying out of the chest,
It's
as
a
you have revealed it
mimic.
to be a mimic.
Classic.
Notably, I did use my staff
I am
and not my
so
hand.
jealous.
I used my staff, not my hand. Aren't these
All
things
right.
intelligent?
Classic
Can I talk to them?
D&D monster. The classic.
He wanted to go alone, so that's
Yeah, no, it's fine.
So as far as you can see, basically this this unusual chest just sprouts fangs and a tongue, and you're taken quite aback as you've never really seen anything like this. Roll initiative, please. You already have. What a good boy. All right, and I will roll initiative. When I manage to select the token, I will.
Why is my initiative always garbage?
Well, it is always quite bad. All right, so as you are still very taken aback by this and surprised, I'll say that it does strike out towards you with its gross giant tongue. And that is a 22 to hit.
That hits.
Okay, that is going to be 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ow.
And also, as this is still in a chest-like form, it is now stuck to you.
No, no.
So you are now
Cool.
grappled by it. You can make an attempt to escape the grapple.
Well, I do
Okay.
have I'm going to use my where is it? Rebuke of the Talisman. I'm gonna deal oh yeah, that's interesting. So I deal 2 damage to it, and then it says and push it up to 10 feet.
Well, you're facing it and it's got its back to a wall, so I wouldn't say you could push it anywhere.
It doesn't say away from me. It just says push it up to 10 feet.
I would say push to me implies away from you.
Away.
You push away, you pull towards. You can't push towards.
Okay.
Yourself, that is.
It still takes 2 psychic damage.
Okay, it takes 2 points of psychic damage. You can see, your kind of like talisman shimmer and a veil of energy envelop the mimic. But you are now grappled by the mimic. You can make an attempt to escape it, as your turn, essentially. But basically, you know how grappled works, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you can just, you can't move, essentially. So, your turn.
Is Justin dead? Is Justin gonna die?
Probably.
That fine.
I assume
You
at
can
some
buy
point we'd be
furniture.
like, where did he go? I don't know.
In terms of noise, I would say there's like 15 feet of solid rock between
Yep.
you. You
Okay.
cannot hear a thing.
Yeah, we can't hear a thing.
Like-
I figured.
I'm
The
thinking about
suspense
it.
is killing me.
just to make sure, because it does matter. Would it be an ability check that I'm doing?
Yes.
To escape the grapple, yes. And it would have disadvantage due to the nature of the mimic.
It would have disadvantage.
Yes, due to the adhesive of the mimic. It's a mimic special.
Mimics.
Athletics or acrobatics, to be specific.
Yeah, well, those are both terrible for me.
Indeedly doodly.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and do the thing called yell for help. And curses. I know about mimics, but I can't metagame because my character doesn't know about mimics. Because technically they can speak or they can understand speech, but I don't know that.
Well, just to counter that, it actually only speaks Undercommon. So unless you speak Undercommon,
I don't. I speak Elvish, Common, and Infernal. So I guess what I'm gonna do. There's no way I'm de-grappling. My acrobatics and athletics are garbage, so I'm just going to go ahead and cast Burning Hands.
okay. 15. Yeah, a 15 hits.
Oh no, it's deck save. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Of course it is. Yeah, my bad. That is a wow. Oh, you guys can't see it because it's 2GM. Sorry, it rolled double natural 20 on the advantage check. So that's pretty rare. Yeah, so it's a 21 to escape it.
Wait.
That's really super rare.
Wait, how?
21. Sorry, 21 deck save. So it's half.
Oh, okay.
It's a
I was
tap damage.
confused. Okay, so it's going to take half damage of that.
Okay, so that is going to be how much did you roll?
7.
I rolled 15.
7.
Oh yeah, 7 points of damage. Okay. So once again, your fire spills over it, the shower of embers, but it seems to singe away. A couple scorch marks on the wood, but this thing is still lashed its huge gargantuan tongue around you. Anything else?
I don't have any bonus actions or anything, so nope.
All right. Well, it's chompy time.
I mean, I yelled.
The mimic bears down on you with its huge fangs as it has you grappled with its tongue. You find it difficult to escape, and the fangs strike for 24.
Hits. I'm
That
almost certainly
is-
going to be down.
11 points of piercing and
I'm
3
down.
points of acid damage. All right. Justin is down.
Oh dear.
Ah,
Back to the group, and I.
back to the group.
I'm gonna say, and that's why if we ever meet again, you should let me buy you an ale.
And with this, she goes, "Oh, that's a very kind offer of you. I do appreciate that. Now, you're asking about the layout of the fortress. I can't give you a map, but I have been down to the forge a few times on guided tours, which he made me endure. Is there anything else you're wondering about?"
I have a question. if
You do not hear that.
is there anyone down there who not necessarily is one of your people, but who would have a lot of information about the kind of area where we might find Zardrock? Someone you would suggest we speak to?
Oh, to be honest, I feel most of his guards have been instructed to be quite simpering would be the word, really, towards us. So they should do their best to help you out. With this, Twisted Limb actually steps forward and goes, "Do you know where we may find prisoners? I fear one of my own is there." She looks towards you and goes, "Oh, prisoners are kept along the northern wall. I think they have a dungeon cut out there."
How would we get to the dungeon? Northern wall, but is there like a...
Oh, it's just a small jail type of thing, cut into the stone. There's a passageway. You'll see it. But you might need a good excuse to get in there, because Zardrock's not exactly going to be sitting in a cell.
Very well. It's been quite a while since we saw Ezar. Shouldn't he
in
be
like a
back
good
by now?
12 seconds. It's fine.
It's been like really, yeah, it's been like a minute.
Oh,
Has
okay.
it? I was throwing the
Oh, that's
thing
because
for a while.
combat is
So
6
you're throwing
seconds,
that for
right?
a little bit.
For
Yeah,
each
okay, it's probably
turn?
been like 3 or 4 minutes then.
Okay, I'll wait a little longer. It's fine.
So it's up to you if you can do what you want.
Oh, it's been only a couple minutes.
I'm unconscious. My demon is laughing at me, or my devil, excuse me.
Do you know how Nildar attacked us? He used this, like show this circlet. Do you know anything about this? I could take the time to learn myself, but if you know, it would help me out. Spare me 10 minutes.
She takes it from me and sort of turns it over in her hands and goes, "Oh, well, it looks like it's certainly been enchanted. I mean, it'd be my 10 minutes if not yours, my dear."
All right. I
She
will
hands it back
start.
to you.
Another question from me, sorry. If all goes well and we quietly deal with Zardrock without bringing the whole fort down upon ourselves, I assume we're just to return to you here.
Oh, yes, or make yourself scarce, to be honest. I'll hear if he's dead, and perhaps the less connection between us, the better.
That makes sense.
Fair enough. In addition to that, if things do go south, do you know of a quick exit? Any hidden escape routes we could take?
Oh, escape routes. Well, there's one quick route out of there, but it might not be for people of your disposition.
Meaning I could probably fit through, and you, well, sorry.
No, dear.
Oh,
You, most of all, wouldn't like what I'm suggesting. Let's just say it's the way we arrived, and it leads to a place far deeper and
ooh.
darker than any of
Yeah.
your surface dweller holds.
I'd like to keep up, not down, if possible.
Likely a wise idea in your case.
Well, I'm gonna take another thing of ale just to drink for her.
Dear Lord.
It's fine to me. I've had worse.
Not
And
that
it was
worse,
very
but-
kind of our host to provide such a homemade brew.
Much so.
And I'm just gonna rest.
I just love how, and just from a metagame perspective, we're all just beating around the bush, knowing
Yeah,
Ezar's
no,
like
we're
3
fine.
quarters. Oh, I love
He
it.
needs more
He's-
time to.
I mean, he's
stew,
been
it's fine.
eating a lot.
Stew is a terrible word to use.
This is what happens when you have greed.
The greed is real.
If only I
Can
had
I-
that circlet, then I would have invited
Oh,
John.
yeah,
with me,
yeah.
and it would've been
Justin,
fine.
Justin literally I'm a head outed himself.
if I no, legit though, like if I had the circlet, I would have invited John, but I worried that he would take something else. So I was like, I'm just gonna go alone then.
It's your own selfishness.
How to
Your
make
own
people feel bad
hubris.
for
Oh,
you.
he's
I
gonna
guess.
take more stuff of mine.
Your hubris was your downfall.
Can I take a short rest?
Well, I would, yeah. If bear in mind, spending a short rest, you'd have to rest in here for
10 minutes.
yeah, 10,
Yeah.
15 minutes
Oh,
realistically.
I thought it was
I mean,
my dumb.
It's like 20, 30 sometimes. Just
Oh.
it just
okay.
varies.
I'm fine
Yeah.
with that. I figured I'll just
the
he was
Grand Offer
fine.
is happy to entertain your presence here.
There was no
Yeah.
monster, you know. That's what we were told.
Yeah. So are you just gonna
Yeah.
sit? Okay. So
gonna-
we'll say 15 minutes passes. You'll
I
just
do
kinda-
ritual cast identify though.
Okay, your ritual cast identify. You have a circlet of blasting. You're welcome to look that up yourself. Basically,
Lovely.
you can cast Scorching Ray out of it once a day. But yeah, you spend 15 minutes. You're just kind of eating the brain sundries if you choose to, or drinking the filthy mushroom ale.
The filthy mushroom ale.
Randolpha kind of converses with you every now and again, but she realizes that you're catching your breath too, and seems more than content to just puff away on her pipe, reading a dusty old tome that she is. Would any of you like to do anything during your short rest?
I will regain some health.
Same.
I will not wear the circlet of blasting.
You're not.
No.
Okay. You
Because
can
maybe
take
the
a
Durgar
fucking
will
holster
go.
water, but you can't make it wear a circlet, can you?
Not yet, Connor. I don't want to walk around with the fucking prince of this Underdark's fucking...
That's a good point. Actually, I didn't think.
I said that
on.
earlier.
Get your like divinity dwarf walk on and just
Yeah.
wearing their royalties crown.
Well,
Right.
I can't wait any longer. Ezar has been gone for like 20 minutes. God forbid he probably tripped on the door. I think I'm just saying maybe
Fine,
we
we should go
check
pick
on
him up. Yes. Tell him to hurry up from his looting.
He's probably reading every ledger. It's probably fine.
Well, my lady, I guess we bid you adieu at this point.
Oh well, good luck, and before the deed is done, if you need anything, feel free to pop in.
Thanks. Sweet.
Great.
I can't wait to walk into
So
this.
I think
Oh.
now is the time. I have my robe on, and we're gonna go and check
Would
on.
there be anything left at this point?
Okay,
I
so
don't-
what are you guys gonna go head to Durth's chamber?
Yes.
Maybe he doesn't eat flesh. Maybe he just eats all of my gold and jewels.
Wait a second. Where
That
did
would
I
actually
know?
be like about as sad as being dead for Ezar.
That would
Oh,
be
if
the
he takes
hand
all
in the
my
mouth
finery,
magic missile.
no.
He's our no.
All right, so
I'd
you
rather
guys
you kill me.
you guys head up to Durth's chamber. You notice the door is a little ajar, not much, as if it's been very tentatively opened and then kind of gently swung shut again. As you
Oh, I enter.
enter in there, you do see that it is a fairly plain chamber. There is a desk with papers on it, and a small bread bowl, and a decanter of some sort of liqueur, you assume. There's a stone bed at the back, and there appears to be like a large kind of wooden chest or trunk banded in bronze against one wall. There's no sign of Ezar, though.
Yikes.
Where did he
Uh,
get off to? Do you think he started looking in other rooms?
He might
like-
have.
I don't know, man. That man's greed is his own
There's-
hubris.
There's a
Why would I show
room
that much greed?
opposite to this, right?
There is.
Maybe he went in there.
Where
Maybe
is-
maybe he went to go talk to his demon daddy or something. I don't know.
I'm gonna call out to him. Ezar? Where are you hiding?
No response.
The twisted limb comer, is he just chilling?
Yeah, he's following behind.
He's falling behind.
He's not moving the
Well,
token.
No,
I
that's
mean,
fine.
I guess he's not in here, so what? We should check the room adjacent.
Keep looking, I guess. And I won't say anything twisted limb. I just want to say my direction would be to the dungeon. I do want to know if Fearless is here, but we need to know if Ezar's here first.
Yeah, he looks down towards you and goes, I understand. I am seeking one of my own. I would not have you lose one too.
Well, I'm going
Let's
to.
go check the other room.
Yeah.
Too
So
late, Ezar died.
I'm going to walk to the door and knock on it.
All right, you knock. There is no response.
Okay. I'm gonna try to open the door.
Is this the guard outpost?
The door opens.
Door opens.
No, you're further down the corridor than the guard outpost, John. You did pass
Alright.
the door to that when you walked to Grandolphus Hall.
Ah, I see.
I'm going to enter the room.
Okay. You enter the room. You see that it is full of training dummies and kind of like standard issue guard equipment. You see there's piles of like chainmail and cuirasses and the maces and warhammers that the Duragar tend to favor. There's a few flails and crossbows laying around. There's 4 sort of spaced out, like almost like combat dummies, like training dummies. 4 quite nicely made, it seems, suits of armor on mannequins, spaced around evenly around the room. Other than that, there's nobody in here. It does seem like most of the floor has been, like Maldolfa said, vacated to make space for her and her entourage, essentially.
I call back to the rest of the group. Well, he's not in here either, and we would have probably heard him go past, or if there was some ruckus. Maybe, do you think that the guards might have found him rummaging around and taken him away?
Well,
Again, I think
certainly hope not.
Ezar knew the story, right? He knew that we were, here on her business. I can't imagine Ezar would be that pompous to just spit words. I don't know, like.
Oh,
Then
no.
again, if the guards saw him in Durth's room, they might, he would be trespassing.
Yes,
they might
there's no
not
reason.
take kindly with that.
Well, maybe before we leave, let's go back to Darth's room and see. He was a very tricky man. Maybe he has some type of secret passageway that Ezar might have stumbled upon.
All right, let's go back and have a look for the clues then.
Indeed.
All right. As you make your way back to that room, we'll end the session for there.
Okay.
As of course, our dear Ezar might have been a little bit eaten by a mimic, so
It's fine.
Tabs out.
go out
Frozen
like you
won my
live,
ass.
like an idiot.
I want to go alone. It's fine. I want to get all the treasure for myself.
It is like a fable. Like you could make it. There is a lesson.
Yeah, I've never had somebody die like that before. I'm gonna go off and loot the place while you talk to this lady.
Will you sweet talk the lady?
If Ezar just wanted to circle it, man, and he died for it.
Oh man.
Well, I
Oh
guess
my
what we
God.
could say is that it is John's fault then for taking.
Wow, not a
Definitely
chance
John's
in
fault.
your life.
John was like, I
Eddie?
remember when you left me in that burning building, and now I'm
Yeah,
gonna leave you getting
fuck,
eaten by a
yeah. Layson is losing his fucking mind right now.
Oh,
So for
okay.
the soul family, essentially, they're going to remain to be cursed. After like another 100 or 1,000 years or so, they'll have another son, and he'll have to do something similar.
Yep.
But oh well, the women are still cursed.
Hopefully he doesn't go and open any mimics on his own.
On his
Oh
own.
crap! I'm lawful evil. I'm actually going to the hells. I'm gonna actually see the dude. I'm gonna
You're
see
gonna
the
see
dude in real life.
Your devil daddy.
Be like, I hate you. I'm gonna walk to his office. And be like, I hate you. I'm leaving.
What happened to your plan? There's supposed to be some secret, perfect safety.
No, prophecy. I couldn't get away. My athletics is -1 and my acrobatics is 2.
Unfortunately, no matter how much I like
Right.
you, you can't write a prophecy into your character backstory to
No.
become invincible.
No, absolutely, yeah, no, I completely agree.
Oh,
It's like
prophecies-
my
my
destiny.
backstory is I will win. Thanks.
No, I can't remember what
I have plot armor.
media property it's from, but there's
No, you
like
just
the
have
idea
20
that
AC.
there's an idea that prophecy is fluid, and like
Yeah. It's like the threads of fate are ever shifting, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's like that. It's like, oh, this is seen, but maybe it's not actually me. Maybe it's a
He's
different
my
person
favorite friend.
who's gonna do something else. I just
Oh,
can't
yeah.
wait till my family realizes it's been like 10 years and I
Well,
haven't
yeah.
been back.
Maybe he's still alive. He could just be like in the thing.
Nah, I'm dissolved.
He's dissolved by a mimic.
If you fight the mimic, you'll find my amulet and nothing else. No, it'll be just my hand with a middle finger.
There'll be a note that just says, "I wanted to circle it, John."
That's my dying breath. It's like scrawling a note and just leaving it outside the mimic. Fuck you.